All right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever state, whatever city, whatever country that you are in. My name is Shofu Babalola, and you are welcome to another wonderful episode of the Pest Experience Show. If this is your first time of joining the Pest Experience Show, you know the show cut across different states, across different city, across different country. What we do here is basically talk about every single thing that has to do with pest and pest control. Right? Like I said initially, the show cut across different states, across different city, across different country, and across different county, depending on the state and the country that you are listening to me from. My name is Shofu Babalola, and welcome to another wonderful episode of the Plex Experience Show. Well, tonight, right on the First Experience Show, the First Experience Show is now shining the major spotlight. And I mean the major spotlight in Nigeria, right? And I'm not doing tonight's show all alone. I'm doing it right here with my amazing guest all the way from Nigeria. Tonight we'll be talking about Lassa fever, snake bite, and emerging pest control issues in Nigeria. I'm not doing this all alone by myself. I'm doing it exactly with an experienced professional, a mentor to me, a leader in the industry, the National Public Relations Officer of the Pest Control Association of Nigeria. So you can see how weighty and worthy this amazing show, what you will learn tonight, what you would unlearn tonight, what you will relearn tonight is, so you need to get your papers, you need to get your jotters, you need to get your pen, you need to get every single thing that you need to get. If you need to get your iPad from wherever you've kept them from, just keep them. Just this is the right time, this is the right moment. And if you have friends across different states that is probably not in the industry, not a pest control professional, or someone who is looking towards starting a journey in the pest control industry, or even as a homeowner, commercial facility manager, this is the right program to learn, to be in, to unlearn and relearn, and also, unlearn and relearn, and also learn again. Right on the show, I'm joined with Dr. Olabisi Dennis, the CEO, Fumigaclean Limited, and also the National Public Relations Officer of the Pest Control Association of Nigeria. You're welcome to this show, sir. Thank you very much for joining.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are listening to me. It's a nice pleasure. It's a pleasure being with you tonight. At least for the second time.
Exactly. After in 3 years now.
I think I was on the show in March 26th,
wow.
2022. Jeez. So by next month, it will be 3 years. So I'm happy to be here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And the show last time was about regulatory procedures in the industry. And those, in fact, the show is extremely still valid till now. The regulatory procedure still remains the same. And I mean, that program is what you really want to go and watch again. If you have not, watched it before, it's right on our YouTube channel. And those who are going to be watching it after, we're going to attach it in the description below, so you can watch it again. So thank you very much for joining once again, sir. It's my greatest pleasure for you, Ivan. Our greatest pleasure to have you right on the show, right? So thank you very much. So tonight we are talking about Lassa fever and snake bite. But before we get started, one major thing is the snake bite. I mean, snake bite has been, or let me say, snake issue has been right in the top line of discussion, the discussion for a very long time. It has been a topic discussion for a very long time, and I mean, it became a spotlight. It became spotlight discussion when the case of the lady happened recently. So it's important that we also touch and talk about it as pest control professionals again. But when we look at it, the aspect of pest control, right? As pest control professional, this issue of snakes, how the snakes get into the apartment, what actually causes the bites, and what type of snake is it? What are the leakages that happened? And what are the things that we need to do to prevent reoccurrence? Then, before that happened all of a sudden, now we are also back to where we were before, a few years ago, back to Lassa fever case. Lassa fever case is mentioned in about 7 different states in Nigeria by the NCDC, Ebonyi, Plateau, and so many other states like that, based on the information we have from the NCDC recently. Now, it shows that there is still a lot that needs to be done in pest management. There's a lot that needs to be done in advocacy. There's a lot that needs to be done in prevention. There's a lot that needs to be done in control measures. So as a professional with over 30 years experience in the industry, let's start from snakes. How exactly the snakes even get to the lady as a case study? And what can we do as professionals?
Well, thank you very much, PCO Shofu Babalola.
Sir.
I want to be talking here tonight from the angle of a pest controller, not from the angle of a wildlife conservationist. Since the here throughout the whole world, there will be a country or a nation whereby they are not, they've seen snake as a kind of animal, not to be killed. So that's the angle from the angle of a wildlife conservationist. But from the angle of a pest controller, any snake that enter my property, that enter my home, my room, my flat, my office, it has become a pest. And then when you look at this from the angle of a zoologist, when any animal being reared in the zoo and they attack a tourist, what I know is that maybe the snake, tiger, or whatever, that animal will be killed. For this, I'm talking from the angle of a pest controller tonight. We women were the cause of the issue of a snake, no matter the type of a snake. All these snakes, all these wild animals, they are in the forest. We are the one that moved into the forest, and for us to develop the forest, cut the trees, move into agricultural system of life, whereby we remove all the trees, their habitats were damaged, were destroyed. For this, all these animals, all these snakes, they will be looking for a way of escape. Some will be killed, while some will find their ways to your environment. And when you have this, the next thing for you to do is to do control.
Exactly.
Also, most of us, we've turned our home to forest in the name of gardening. Rather than to cut your garden low, you planted different kind of trees, flowers that's turned to a kind of protection for these snakes. Most of us, we put a lot of debris in our environment. Poor sanitation. All these these snakes to be looking for food. And what are their foods? Frogs, lizards, rodents.
True.
When you fail to dispose your refuse, the snake will come there to look for food. When you fail to cut your lawn, your flowers, your plants, what you are saying is that you are writing letter of invitation to snakes, and they will come. Most of us, we have deficiency in our building method. You have openings under our doors, a lot of cracks. When you fail to do this, to do a kind of IPM, integrated pest management, you are going to have serious issues. Opening under your door, whereby you put a stoppers, lot of wood in your compounds, unused blocks, and what have you. They will go there to hide under those things, and they'll be living there. Just this past week, I was invited to a property in this riverine Isheri. When that my customer, when he got the place, I told her, be ready for sleep. Not quite long, she called me. There are snakes here and there. We did what we could do. When I got there recently, I said, Madam, you will have a snake no matter what. She said, why? You have a bush near your fence.
Near the building.
And the wall is not a plaster. When you have a quartz wall, what you are saying is that snakes should come in because it's not easy for them to climb. For example, if you have a Tesco wall, some people they don't know this. Tesco wall allow reptiles to move into your properties, but we don't know. Oh, we think that they want to beautify our home. There are paints that you cannot use.
Sorry, you said there are paints that we cannot use.
Tesco paints, Tesco paints. It's quartz in nature for this. Snakes, reptiles, will move in easily. It's easy for them. But when you have a smoother wall, reptiles will not be able to climb.
They won't be able to climb on it. That's true.
That's it. So all this we should know. Some of us we channel our pipe, drainage pipe into the gutter or to the drainage. The pipe leading to our septic tank, the pipe leading to our wastewater. They're moving from there.
Sir, so I feel.
Go ahead,
okay, so sorry, sir. I feel like, based on my own little experience in the industry, I've got to realize that there's a need for this kind of, I don't know, maybe what the regulatory body there's a need for policy change. That's number one I want to say first. There's a need for policy change, but policy change again, but we're going to talk about that in detail. But policy change I'm talking about now is in building construction. I feel that if we need to actually solve pest problem, we should be able to look at it from the source, which is from the building itself, either commercial facility or residential facility. Now, what that means is that when you are building, maybe based on policy, that's what I'm saying, like policy. There can be a policy that when you are building, you have your site engineer, but as you're calling your site engineer, you should also have a pest control consultant together with your site engineer. Because like what you just said now, the type of paints that you use, the type of doors, like I had a program this morning at YesFM, and the basic discussion we were talking about is the entry points, exit points, and everything, the leakages, the pipes, the doors, the nets. So, and everything that we talked about, I got to realize that even all the things that I've talked about here is basically construction. So I feel that, also as the national PRO of the Pest Control Association of Nigeria, I don't know what again are the things that are done in terms of policy, because that's exactly where we can start from if we truly want a change. Because for me now, based on the issue with snakes and Lassa fever, is basically two things: advocacy, inadequate information to the people, because the major problem or the major thing that has been done so far over the years has been control. What the government is doing in terms of even malaria itself. What they have been doing is getting products, just getting pharmaceutical products in the market, mosquito nets, and that's been controlled. There's nothing done in terms of proactive pest management. And proactive pest management starts with sealing up all the entry points, the exits. Why are they there? Choosing from the source. So my question basically is, in terms of policy, is there any future plan, or is there any projection that you feel that is being done in terms of policy change? Or Do you think, based on your experience, sir, do you think policy change is the right way to start with if we actually need to get a solution to this? Because that's my own thought.
Thank you very much. Policy change on one side, we as operators, we have a lot to do. We have a lot to do is then that are we really educating our clients on what to do? We are so close to all these clients. What effort are we making to educate them? We are educators. As doctors, as the real solution to the problem in the health sector. So as for pest controllers, we are solution to the pest problem of the world. When we see ourselves as solution, then there's no, the problem is less. We go out to operate, they call you to come and control snake. You get to the place, so bushy, and you carry out your equipment to control. What are you controlling? So we as a individual pest controller, we have a lot. We are educators. We educate our clients. Also, as an association, PECAM, where I have to be, where I did, the public relation officer, we've done a lot of work in partnering with the organization and the regulators. We go out for advocacy. We appear on radio, TV, and what have you. Sometimes we sensitize people. We move out in large number with our trucks, members, sensitizing the populace. But this is not enough. You, as a pest controller, you have a lot to do. I, as a pest controller, have a lot to do. Through a kind of rendering advocacy, I think we can go a long way. When you are close to people and you talk to them on the needs to make a kind of sanitation the environment. The two areas we're talking about, Lassa fever, snake bite, all has to do with sanitation. If your environment is dirty, if your environment is not clean, then we are going to have challenge. For example, waste management is an area that we have to look into. In a zone whereby you have a refuse bin that dump almost everywhere along the road, streets, and delay in removing all this waste is another area we have to talk about. Our waste managers take about 2 weeks, 3 days, a week before removing all the waste. It's another cause of this problem.
That's why I said that I personally, this morning I woke up thinking about all the problems, and I discovered sanitation is key. We cannot shy away from sanitation if we truly want to have a pest control solution, right? That's number one. Then we now have to talk about waste management. I remember that Babalola said something when I attended the first program, and he gave me an assignment. I think I probably post this video on my personal account, on my Instagram account. And he said, Shofu, there's something I want you to work on. He said, work on waste management. He said it to my face. He mentioned it out of the entire crowd. He said, he just looked back and he said, Shofu, I want you to work on waste management. And he dawned on to me, and I started looking at these things. And he said, based on what he said, I discovered that time, I think that happened in 2023 or 2024 thereabout. That time I did a research because I was staying in Agbowo in Ibadan, or your state. And I did a research. I went with my team to some market women and asked them how exactly is waste affecting their products that they sell, the materials, the food items that they sell. And most of them said that these things are actually damaging their stores, and they don't know where to dispose these things. And major thing that they said at those times is that they have these municipal waste carriers that come into the streets. They come, they pack the stuff, they come into the Oman Lago, they bring bells into different streets like that, and they carry their cars, their cars into the street. But did they do that till date? That's another thing. For me here in Ibadan, I've not seen something like that here. But I know it happens in Lagos. Baba Shomoy also mentioned something again. He said that in this time and age, we are still running open dump sites. And we are looking for perfect solution in mosquito control. We're looking for perfect solution in malaria control. We're looking for perfect solution with erosion. It's not doable. I feel like there is so much that needs to be done in terms of waste management. If you can do waste management properly, oh my God. If I can do waste management properly, this morning I was really disturbed. So it dawned on to me that there is so much that needs to be done with municipal waste. Who are the people that are getting these contracts to pack municipal waste from households, from commercial facility, from residential facility? Where are they taking this waste to? How are they disposing the waste? Now, they say that people should not pour dirt into, we're heading towards the rainy season right now. And the concern now is that people should not pour dust or waste into gutters. But my question is, what alternative have you given to these people that they will not take that as an alternative? So what that means is that, for example, I'm not saying that doing it is right, but I'm saying that if, for example, you tell them that they should not, in a month, these people the waste collectors, they call them waste collectors, they will come in 3 times or 2 times in Lagos. Then, when I was in Lagos, they come in 2 times in a month to every of our streets, 2 times in a month. We are rest assured. So everybody we get enough waste bin. So we know that, okay, in the next 1 month, this one cannot get full. In the next 2 months, at least this thing will be enough to carry us for the next 2 months. I know, I'm rest assured that these people are going to come and carry the waste. But when we look at it deeply, if we're not sure of when these people are going to even come, the alternative for them is to dispose it. I can't keep waste in my house. So we can keep talking about the fact that these people are not, they are pouring Yoruba will say, there is jingle that the government is shouting everywhere. But what is the alternative they are giving to the people? That's what I'm saying, like policy change. For me, I just woke up this morning, I was like, there is a need for policy change in this industry. Waste management, there's a need for, I think there's a need for collaboration with Econ, EPAN, I don't know, EHOs. Oh my God. The moment I start thinking about these things, it just keeps burning in my head. And it's I feel like we do more of talking than looking at the root cause of this problem. Lassa fever is caused by rodents. Snakes are attracted to rodents. So it means that we should take the rodent away. What can take the rodent away is what they feed on. If you have enough waste in your house, no matter what rodenticide you have, they might not even feed on, at some point, they will not feed on rodenticide.
That's it.
They will not feed on rodenticide because there's enough food to feed on. So there is so much energy, and I feel like we need to so much emphasize more on that policy. There's a need for a call of emergency. Papa Shomi says it's an emergency on waste management.
That's it.
Waste management. And if we can do proper emergency on waste management, we'll have perfect solution with drainage, because nothing is going to block the drainage, the drains. Everybody. So we can do more of talking to the people, advocating to the people, but what are the solutions that we give them? This morning, when I was thinking about the topic of discussion today, I was just like, there's so much that needs to be done. There's so much that needs to be done. So I don't know, based on your experience, what are things that are practical that we can start to implement, even as the association is Pest Control Association of Nigeria? What are things that we can start to implement today that even homeowners can do to be able to solve? Because when these snake issues happened with this lady, it was as if snake has never been a major. In fact, like as if people don't know about snake before. So you see a lot of people calling for snakes. Do you do snake? Do you do snake? Do you do snake propagation? I don't know. I don't know if you are getting requests.
That's
They
it.
were, they were requests for snakes, and it was so much. Now I'm like, snakes was in the system before. Well, what are the practical solutions? You made mention of the paints, the type of paints that you use, the type of leakage, I mean, the type of pipes that you use and all. So what are the practical things that we can do, starting from homeowners, then to pest control operators, then to the authorities? I think those are ways that we can actually now stick it and scale from there, sir.
I can't hear you. You said what?
I said, what are the things that, based on your experience, sir, what are the things that we can do, the practical solutions that we can do for homeowners? If you know, if I take myself as a for homeowners who are listening right now, what are things that they can do, practical solutions that they can implement now for facility managers, pest control operators, what are things that we can implement now, and also for the authorities, what are things that we can also implement now if we actually truly want to actually get the proper solution to snakes, Lassa fever, and so many other pest issues that we're having in Nigeria, sir.
Well, as I've said earlier, I said, all of us we are involved in this fight. If we want we should be involved. If we want a solution to the problem plaguing us at the moment. If I, as a pest controller, is ready and willing to do the right thing, not only to insist on the control alone, but to emphasize on the need for my clients to do it right, educate them, and make sure that there's nothing I can do. I went to a place, I told you I went to this past week, and immediately I got there, I said, no amount of anti-snake control can remove a snake from your environment. I said, you are having a bushy environment.
Mm.
Immediately, the man said, I will call the person to come and call the bush. Also, I find a kind of hole that needs to be blocked with mesh. She said, who are the people to do this? I told her, I immediately they acted on it. So with this, at least we are getting somewhere. As an association, we involve with involving and we intensify efforts by involving the professionals, artisans, and what have you. When we call them, we invite them for our programs, for our trainings. They hear from us what to do and what not to do. Then this we make them to be well equipped. So thereby to make them to be well knowledgeable and the problem be less. Even the homeowners that invited, which we've been doing. I remember that the last training that we did at Peckham, whereby we collaborate with ECOM, Ogun State Ministry of Education, and Lassa. We invited homeowners,
Great.
MD of companies, and what have you, and government parastatals. They came there, they hear from us, and they go back to practice what they've been taught. This will go a long way. And for us to have a policy change, we also write to government, those who have to do with one thing or the other. These are what should be done. When we present this, if we have the will to implement all this information given to them, then we have solutions. But a solution whereby say no, we are not going to work on all what we will be given, then we cannot have solution. If, for example, as a homeowner, you have a bushy environment and you said, no, I don't have time, then you are writing letter to you already. written letter to slaves, and they come. So, and a kind of sensitization method whereby we educate people, we go out, even on the radio, we tell them, no, they said prevention is better than cure. What we are after now is a cure. We are not ready to prevent. And this cannot be a solution. We spend a lot of money on a cure and not on prevention until we spend so much on prevention rather than cure. So
exactly. Thank you very much for that part. That's another major point that we need to put much more emphasis on, and that's proactive, what we call proactive pest management. So we need to actually even do more of. I think, for example, I did a survey recently, and this thing is everybody can actually do it. Everyone can actually do it. Just type on Google, right? I mean, sorry, on ChatGPT. I mean, ChatGPT, it depends on the prompts that you put. It scrapes all the internet information all together, right? And I just did a prompt. I said, based on all the informations on NCDC data, their website, their informations, everything you can get online. Now, list all the actions and steps that has been done so far in solving Lassa fever problem in Nigeria. And everything ChatGPT gave me were actually control. And NCDC is Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention. But there's not so much of things that are done in terms of prevention. What exactly is the cause of Lassa fever? A particular species of rodent. Motulate rodents, right? That's the species of rodent that causes Lassa fever. What are we doing to actually curtail this aspect? So we can say we are doing some jingles, radio stations, and stuff like that. But is it getting to the grassroots? It still goes back into what we've talked about before, which involves the rodent control, which involves making sure that people understand why these things are there, waste management, proper drainage system, right? So you've hit the nail on the net on the head, sir. So now my next question to you, sir, is that what are the gaps that do you currently see in Nigerians' response to most of these pest related issues and health threats that we have seen recently? What are the major gaps that you have seen? Is it that there is a little, and also from the authority perspective, what are the gaps that we're having? What are the challenges that we're having? I mean, no one can tell. We probably have someone who probably be in charge of one of the regulatories that needs to take action right immediately. So I mean, this is an opportunity for us to analyze what are the things that in terms of response that we are getting in solving most of these pest health, public health threats. Okay, I said, what are the gaps? What are the gaps? Is it that in terms of the public health threats that we have or we're experiencing currently, in terms of the regulatory bodies or the government itself? What are the gaps that we are experiencing now that can delay response time in solving most of these public health threats?
Sorry. Well, the government, the health workers, ministries, and what have you, they need to come together, find a kind of solutions to this problem we are having at the moment. If, for example, let me just chip in something. The issue that occurred in Abuja, whereby a lady was bitten by snakes. If she was attended to. If those who are living in the compound took her to the hospital, not for her to go by herself, perhaps we will not have reported the death of that. That's failure on the part of of his neighbor, of her neighbor. Sorry. The health workers, if administer a kind of antivenom injection. First place she went to, will not have recorded the deaths that we had. Look at the time she went by herself, rushing. Look at the time she got to the first hospital that they said, we don't have the injection yet. Go to the other hospital. Look at that duration. So all of us, the neighbor, the first hospital, and the other, we all failed. So, and when I said all failed, the whole nation failed. So I think and I believe that government, if they do the right thing, if I do the right thing, if we are all coordinated in what we are doing, we don't have a problem we are having. So it's still but on hours doing it right and doing the right thing at the right time. So that's it. We have to be coordinated.
That's another very unique view, sir. Because we can say that the government again is that sometimes even the government is actually horse. It's actually horse in terms of the fact that everybody's efforts is what makes the work. That's a very great point of view, sir. So we've analyzed and looked at the causes, the solutions to snakes, the causes why they are there. We talked about prevention. We've talked about also the government perspective, the people's perspective, and also we need to also important. Another part is the community, which is my next question. The communities around. I think there is also more in terms of what the community needs to do. That collaborative efforts within our communities. So is either there's a communication gap, or there is a knowledge gap, or there is a collaboration gap. So I would want you to actually put more emphasis on that aspect in the communities that we have. What are the things that we can do to be able to build up that collaboration in our community so that we can have a perfect solution? Because we really cannot rule out communities, the impact of the community itself, like the neighbors. For example, I can keep my apartment clean and make sure that the whole place is pest free. I give an example. There's an apartment that I went to recently, and the major fly problem for the clients that called us for pest management was actually not from her. When we analyzed it properly, it was not from her. But eventually, after spraying the apartment, we noticed that there will still be flies again. Then at some point, we told her that, okay, just hold on. We're going to monitor your apartment for the next few days. And we discovered that the neighbor is always keeping our refuse just behind our own kitchen door. So the moment she opens our own kitchen door, the flies are gushing into the house. So no matter what we spray, the flies that is coming from the neighbor other part would infest our place. So what do we do at that point? At that point, it's not just pesticide application. It's now more of education. So as professional, as an experienced pest control operator, sir, what can we do in terms of, I think there is so much that also needs to be done in terms of community, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I want to cite the python infection at my 12 about 3 weeks ago or so. There was a kind of abandoned property in that community where the python has been hiding and then killing animals, goats, domesticated animals, and what have you. And nobody knew that such a python is existing in that place, abandoned property. Also, in my property in Ibadan, we used to have a snake invasion at the time. There was a property, a building left on a youth by a priest. That priest has died for so long, but the children, because they have money, they left the property there. We have trees, we have bush in the compound. So snakes will just come there, stay on the tree, and be attacking the community. So the community had to know, get across to the family, to the children, that we are witnessing this. So community CDAs, they have a lot of things to do. Community leaders, when you notice any pest challenge, you raise an alarm. Call the attention of the owner of that property. If a building is left unused, unoccupied for years, I can tell you there's tendency for that building to be housing snakes. For you not to have this kind of challenge, you raise an alarm and make sure that the owner occupy it. Otherwise, you will have a problem. When you have on your street, maybe the waste managers, they fail to be removing your refuse. 2 weeks, 1 month, you have to know, right? In fact, you can even go to the radio station and then raise an alarm that says, no, this is what is happening in our street. If we have been doing this, the issue of Lassa that we are having today will not have. Fantastic. And that's it. When there was a time that was last year, I appeared on here and I have to know. I even wrote that when you are applying beggar, the media, you see people excreting in that media. But today, the campaign I made worked a lot. When you get there today, you can never see any excreta. We have all this kind of a kind. There are some young guys giving red jackets to be arresting whoever excreted in that place. So that's a good result. That's the work of a campaign. That's the work of education.
Great.
So sensitization of the populace is essential. What we are doing today, the same thing. We are sensitizing our people on the need to make our environment to be clean. Sanitation is essential. When we do this, we have results. And I can tell you, our people, most of them, when they see what is killing them, and you advise them what to do, they will do it.
Actually. And one thing I've noticed about the Nigerians of today is the fact that we are now knowing that there is so much work that we personally need to do. So, like, for example, when the case of the snake issues happened, that's when I knew that, people are taking their life serious now. Nobody wants to die. So everybody now is now going online to see, what is actually causing the snake? I mean, there's a video on Lassa fever that Apoko Doctor made. I've seen that video trending, even on our WhatsApp forum as pest control operators. A lot of people are sending it and sharing everywhere. So it shows that right now people are so much concerned about the educations and informations that they consume, the content that they are consuming, and what they need to do. And you also mentioned of something that is getting involved in the system. Right. So you did, like you made mention of the campaign that you did for the excretes on the road in Bega. and stuff like that. I feel like that's also it rang a bell in my head because there is so much that we need to do with waste management. And from the comments that we're getting right on YouTube, Amudat, I don't think I get the name directly, but this is Admudwat. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that name very well. Someone says sanitation is key. And we have Olawe Toib says proper waste management will solve a lot of environmental issues. And Neat Nice Services says, well done, my Oga Fumigaclean. Then Yomi Amza says, well done, bro. So thank you very much for your comments. For those who are listening to us right live on YouTube, would really love your comments directly, and that would be so nice to hear from you guys. What's your questions? I mean, if you have questions, you can also drop them in the chat. We have just 15 minutes before we end up the show. And back to the topic of discussion. So you made mention of something that really got my attention, sir, which is basically getting involved. We have done so much of talking, making complaints, and saying that these things are not working. You said something that we have the rights to the government, that even though you don't have these waste managers coming to pick up your waste the right time they are meant to actually come and collect the waste, right to them. Right to them.
Yes.
I feel like I was really disturbed this morning. I was like, there's a need for policy change in what we are doing here. So I mean, this is giving me an like an order, SB request for this. I'm literally concerned about waste management in the entire system. What exactly are we doing in terms? Because I feel like if we can solve waste problem, we are almost 70% to solving public health challenges in our entire system. Am I right, sir?
You are right.
Because I just see that's the perfect way to solving the pest problem. Someone says, Abdul Ghani Umuidin says, well done, keep it up. Thank you very much for your comments. Thank you very much for listening to us. So if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. I'll definitely read them out and also give you a shout out. Thank you very much. So, I mean, there is so much that we need to do in terms of control, prevention, and there's something I want us to chip in really quick, and that has to do with malaria is also part of this emerging public health issues. In fact, it's not even emerging; it's already in the system, and there are a lot of African countries that has really gained control over malaria. And some other countries are actually mosquito-free. Where are we? What are we doing currently? What is the authority doing? What is the regulatory body doing, sir, in solving malaria problem? Because that's another major public health challenge that we're experiencing in Nigeria, sir.
I want to tell you today that our government at all levels, they fail us. They failed you and they failed me. And this is an issue that calls for concern as a citizen of this nation. If a local government do it right, if the state government do it right, if everyone do it right, we don't have the problem we are having today. It shouldn't be only the area of malaria. Other areas too. Other pest challenge issue, other challenge issue. We are suffering in silence. That's the way I see it. When you have water being there, you have a waterlogged area, you know that what you are writing a letter to is no mosquitoes. The way the dumping site that we have, they are not managed. Mosquitoes. And anywhere you have mosquitoes, then you are going to have malaria. So if the government can manage our waste very well, do the right thing. The dump site that we have everywhere. I remember one of the training that I attended with Babalola. He said there's not like a waste again. That in modern world, all those wastes can be converted to fertilizer.
Exactly.
But we live there and we are suffering. We have a source of money and we're just wasting there. And we are dying silent. Our young one, our old one, they are dying in our eye, and we are seeing, and we don't have solution. And the solution is there for us, and we are not making use of this solution. If I do my own part, and government fail to do their own part, then solution will not be there. If government do their own part, and I fail to do my own part, we are still not going to have solution. So what I'm saying in essence is that all of us, we should come together and have the will to solve these problems. When you have a stagnant water, the water in your drainage is not moving, you cannot solve a mosquito issue that area, no matter what. So all of us, governments, individual, house owner, homeowners, governments, and what have you, all of us, we have a duty to perform. And when we fail in those duties, then we cannot have a solution to the problems we are having. So if you as a community community leaders, if you are seeing your people in your community dumping refuse along the street, people are excreting around, and you don't stop it, then what we are going to have is that we are going to be having all these problem of Lassa fever, snakes, and what have you, until you say no, enough is enough. Someone was telling me today that he saw the area I was, the street I were walking, paper being littered. I said, my children cannot do this. That anytime they are going on the way, if they take pure water, they will keep the nylon until they get home, or get to where they can put the nylon. That they will not. If I can, if children of that man, I mean, can behave that way, can my own children behave that way? Can your own children behave that way?
That brings me.
So all of us are afraid. We are afraid until we do the right thing. Thank you.
Honestly, I'm actually short of words because you are hitting the nail on the head exactly the way it should be, and that's super amazing. Because what you just said, sir, as regards the children, is why we started what we call the Pest Insights for School project through my Pest Insights initiative. You know, what I do here with the PestXperience Show on Inside Radio and what we do with Pest Insights to educate people is a personal project for me that is now turned into an entire initiative, an entire organization itself, that is also backed up with by the Pi Chi Omega International and our international board members that are working with us on the Pest Insights initiative. It's basically the fact that if we can actually train the children from their home, even from the schools that they attend, on how to solve, how to identify the pest challenges, how to know the sources of this. Imagine a child would tell his mom that, "Mommy, the reason why you are having cockroach is because of those liters of food on the table." You know how sweet that usually when I mesmerize on these things, I'm like, you know how sweet that would be to the parents to just say, okay, because of this, who taught you this? Then they can now, that information alone will keep on ringing in the mother's head every single time. Okay, this is the reason why. So I mean, there is so much that needs to be done in terms of solving pest problem. It needs to go back into the schools. It needs to go back. It has never even been in the school, so it's also like going back. It has to be in the school system. It has to be in the school system, in educating these people. Now, we have some comments right on our YouTube channel. Someone says, Mr. Johnson or Ladipo says, sorry for coming late, not too late, just 5 minutes left. Our government has have a lot to do, have a lot to contribute towards sanitation and fumigating some vital areas like open markets, stagnant water in the gutters, hospitals, etc. That's a very good point of view. That's also part of it because the pest problem is already existing and some places needs to be done. Mr. Ayodeji Fortune did something like that when COVID-19 happened. He had to decontaminate a lot of bus stops and something like that. I feel like softs like that needs to be encouraged. Mr. Henry Ademola Oyewole says, well done, SB and my Oga Fumigaclean. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for comment. And those who are just joining, those who are joining, I mean, this discussion tonight is an amazing one. It's something that needs to actually be much more deliberated on. And I would really, in fact, probably in my next episode, I really want to have someone from Econ, maybe even Ministry of the Government, like Ministry of Environment, because I'm really concerned about what are we doing. There's a difference between when we are talking, when we are saying these are the things. I'm more concerned about policy change. I'm not concerned about, my last show when I had Mrs. Kimberly Camera from the US, because I bring a lot of international people, I see how they do their things. I see how the California state is actually organizing webinars, trainings. You see the associations always doing a lot of webinars on a monthly basis. You see people having that regular basis. So there is so much education. You see the ministry. I attend personally, I attend their universities during conferences. Like Purdue University just ended their conference just a few weeks ago in January. And you have people from the association joining, you have speakers who are, my last guest was at Purdue University. She spoke about rodent control. And I'm like, this is amazing. University system is doing that kind of education, taking IPM to the next level, taking it. So that collaborative effort is already there. So for me, I feel like that's why I'm really disturbed and I can't really fathom how we are doing it here. So there is so much that we need to do in terms of policy change. There's so much we need to do in terms of governmental activities. There's so much that we need to do in terms of education. There's so much we need to do in terms of sanitation in terms of education. Because what they know needs to be sanitized. What even operators, like you said, sir, about our even operators, pest control operators ourselves, we need to sanitize ourselves. So I feel like even Pecan can do that sanitization self. That part of and in fact, before we just have like 2 minutes left. So I mean, there was a time I think last year or last 2 years we talked about quackery in the industry, and I think you should, as a national PRO, sir, you should do justice with that part in terms of sanitizing the industry. I know that's going to shoot a lot of legs, but I don't mind.
Becca has been doing that, and we continue to do it.
Okay.
We continue to do it. So we've not failed as an association. And I can assure you that as of today, whoever has not undergone any training cannot be member of PECA. And we are in a partnership with ECOM, Lassa, Ogun State Ministry of Information, to fight against quackery. So this has been our focus as an association, and we've been winning in this area. What I know is that when for example, when you are accosted, I remember something that happened years back. When someone was accosted and it was, it was arrested, he had to know first himself to go and undergo training And I don't want to mention the name of the company. And today they are enjoying it. So PECAM has been in the forefront in the area of fighting against quackery, and we continue to go against quackery. I think one thing which you are doing for the industry, which I think you should continue to do for us. When you engage in public enlightenment, our people, when they know about all this, they'll be able to know that patronizing quacks will not be to the best of their interests. So continue to sensitize the people that whoever engage with quacks, he or she is endangering himself or herself. With this, whoever you want to get as your pest controller must be a member of PECAM. For you to be a member of PECAM, you undergo training annually. Last year, we did training not only for the MD, the company, but for the staff, to make them to be professional of the job, to make them to know what is happening in the industry. In the world of today, you have to be fast, otherwise you'll be left behind. So that's the work of a PECAM, to make sure to be up to date in what you are doing. Thank you.
Thank you very, very, very much, sir. That's a fantastic point of view, sir. In that regard, it's important that we put so much emphasis in educating the people, educating the populace, educating what we do, and sanitizing the industry. And there is so much that needs to be done in terms of that collaborative effort in solving the pest problem. There's so much that needs to be done by the government. We've highlighted so many things like that. There's so much that needs to be done in terms of policy change. There's so much that needs to be done in terms of how we do our things. There's so much that needs to be done as the association. There's so much that needs to be done in terms of sanitization in different angles, in different strata. So that collaborative efforts needs to be in place properly for us to be able to get a perfect result across different states, across different cities, and even across different countries, not just even Nigeria. It's cut across for everybody globally, actually, because when we continue to look at it from different angle and different perspective, we know that it's now a challenge for everyone to look inward in what we are doing and how we can actually make the system work much more better. How we can make the system work much more better for everyone. Thank you very much for every single person out there that is actually listening to us right on the show. Thank you for joining on the show. Thank you for taking your time to be part of the PestXperience Show tonight. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. And thank you very much, Dr. Olabisi Dennis, for choosing to be part of the PestXperience Show once again after the past three years. And I mean, tonight is like you've piled up everything. You piled up everything and you brought it back. This is one of the super amazing shows that I've had this year. Thank you very much. You touched the exact points that have been bothering my head for the past few days. So, like you said, the efforts needs to be done regularly. And I mean, this is opportunity for people who are in charge of, or you probably have some connections with personnel in the Ministry of Environment, Econ.
The policymakers.
The policymakers, exactly, sir. The policymakers, I would really love to have them right on the show. So if you are in that system, please, you can just hit me up, send me a direct DM on any of my socials, shofubabalola@gmail.com, or you can send us an email, info@insideradio.net. Send us an email, info@insideradio.net, or just call the number 090-178-27767, or my direct line directly 070-844-21068. I would really love to hear from people who are in the ministry, the policymakers, as we've said. Okay, before we go, I have a comment to write. Yomi Amza says governments need to engage private refuse collector to order. Honestly, they need more on refuse. They ask not to patronize the cats, not to patronize the cat pushers. They failed in their own way of responsibility. I guess this is saying that the government needs to put much more emphasis on private. Okay, the private refuse collectors need to be called into order. He needs to call into order, and that's also a very good point of view for us to look at. So I don't know if you have one or two things to say. We're just 5 minutes away before we wrap up the show tonight. Thank you very much for everyone who has taken the time to be part of the show tonight. You have one or two things to drop?
Well, I may say my parting statement. As pest controllers, you should be ready to do it right. As government agencies, you should be ready to do it right. As homeowners, property owners, you should be willing and ready to do it right. Let's come together to work towards the same goal. By this, we have results. We will not be having the challenges of snake bites, Lassa fever, and what have you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, sir. That's a very, very important way to end the show. So thank you very much, everyone. My name is Shofu, and my guest is Dr. Olabisi Dennis, the National Public Relations Officer of the Pest Control Association of Nigeria. This is the PestXperience Show. I'll see you on the next one. I'll see you next week Sunday, 7 to 8 p.m. West African time. Good night.